All right, so get this. We're diving into some notes today about how to escape the matrix.
Yeah, the matrix.
You heard that right? The matrix?
And no, we won't be dodging bullets in slow motion.
Wait.
This deep dive is all about breaking free from those invisible forces.
Okay.
Think societal pressures.
Yeah.
Consumerism.
Yeah.
That can make us feel stuck in a rut.
Duh.
You know, like we're living someone else's script instead of our own.
Totally. It's like that feeling when you're scrolling through social media and suddenly you realize you've spent an hour looking at perfectly curated lives and you start to question your own choices.
Exactly. That's precisely the kind of awareness this escape plan encourages.
Interesting.
It's about recognizing those subtle ways
Uh-huh.
that even something like a carefully crafted algorithm influences our thoughts and actions.
Okay, so first things first. How do we even begin to see this matrix? This web of influence we might not even realize we're caught in.
Well, the first step is all about cultivating what the notes call radical awareness.
Radical awareness.
It's about paying attention.
Okay.
To those moments when you feel pressured to conform, to buy something you don't need, or to live up to some external standard.
Yeah.
And it's about asking yourself, wait, is this really what I want?
That's a great point. It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot and actually tuning in to your own internal compass. But how do we actually make that shift from awareness to, well, actually doing something about it?
That's where step 2 comes in, questioning everything.
Questioning everything.
The notes suggest challenging those deeply ingrained beliefs.
Right.
We often inherit from our families, our culture, or even the media.
Okay.
It's about asking yourself, why do I believe this? Is it serving me, or is it just something I've always accepted as truth?
It's like taking those truths we've always held on to and holding them up to the light, right? Seeing if they still hold up under scrutiny.
Precisely. And one thing the notes emphasize here is the importance of exposing yourself to different perspectives.
Oh.
Read books outside your usual genre. Have conversations with people who hold different views. You might be surprised at what you discover.
That makes sense. It's like stepping outside your echo chamber and realizing there are a million different ways to see the world, but isn't that kind of scary too?
It can be.
Yeah.
That's why step 3 is all about embracing change.
Oh, okay.
And listen, you don't have to go make some drastic life change right away.
Right.
It can be as simple as trying a new restaurant, taking a different route to work,
Sure.
or even just changing up your morning routine.
I love that small steps leading to bigger shifts, but the notes do mention some pretty big changes, like changing careers or even moving to a new city. How do we know when it's time for those bolder moves?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It's about paying attention to those whispers of discontent.
Interesting.
Those moments when you feel a nagging sense that something isn't quite right. And it's about having the courage to explore those feelings, even if they lead you down a path that feels uncertain.
So it's about trusting that inner voice,
Yes,
even if it's telling you to do something that scares you.
absolutely. It's about recognizing that discomfort often precedes growth.
All right, so we're aware, we're questioning, and we're ready to embrace change. What's next on this journey of escaping the matrix?
Well, with all this change swirling around,
Yeah.
it's no surprise that step 4 is all about finding a sense of grounding amidst the chaos.
You mean like taking a deep breath and finding our center?
Exactly. The notes refer to this step as practicing mindfulness.
Practicing mindfulness.
It's about cultivating a sense of presence and awareness
Right.
in the midst of all the distractions and demands of modern life.
I can see how that would be crucial, especially when you're trying to break free from those ingrained patterns.
Yeah.
But what does practicing mindfulness actually look like?
It can take many forms.
Okay.
Meditation yoga, spending time in nature, even just taking a few minutes each day to sit quietly and observe your breath.
Uh-huh.
The key is to find practices that help you tune in to your inner world
Yeah.
and reconnect with your own sense of peace and stillness.
Okay, so we're aware, we're questioning, we're embracing change, and we're finding our inner zen through mindfulness. What's the final piece of this escape plan?
The last step, and it's a big one,
Okay.
is about fostering authentic relationships.
Authentic relationship.
You see, the matrix thrives on isolation and superficiality.
Right.
So breaking free requires building meaningful connections
Okay.
with people who share your values and support your journey.
So it's not just about escaping the external pressures. It's about building a new world, a new community where those pressures don't exist.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it connects beautifully back to the idea of embracing change.
Okay.
These new relationships can provide the support and encouragement you need.
Yeah.
to navigate the challenges of breaking free from old patterns and stepping into a more authentic version of yourself.
This is all making so much sense. We've gone from recognizing the matrix to questioning our beliefs, embracing change, finding our inner peace, and building a supportive community. It's like we've created a whole roadmap for escaping those invisible forces that can make us feel trapped.
And the beauty of this escape plan is that it's not a one-time event.
Right.
It's an ongoing journey.
Let me see.
It's about constantly refining your awareness, questioning your assumptions, and making choices that align with your values and aspirations.
This is incredible, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a moment to really unpack these 5 steps one by one. Let's start with radical awareness. What are some practical ways we can start noticing the matrix at work in our own lives?
That's a great question. One simple but powerful technique is to start paying attention to your emotional responses.
Our emotional responses.
When do you feel stressed, anxious, or pressured?
Mm-hmm.
What triggers those feelings?
Okay.
Often you'll find that those emotional cues
Yeah.
are pointing you towards areas where you're feeling trapped by external forces.
That's fascinating. It's like our emotions are sending us signals, but we're often too distracted to pay attention.
Exactly. And once you start paying attention to those signals,
Okay.
you can begin to explore the underlying beliefs and patterns that are driving your emotional responses.
Interesting.
You might find that you're carrying around beliefs that no longer serve you,
Mhm.
or that you're unconsciously living up to expectations that aren't truly your own.
This is so insightful. I'm already starting to see how these 5 steps work together to create a powerful framework for personal transformation. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll dive deeper into the remaining steps in just a moment.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. And we're back. Before the break, we were deep in the matrix, exploring how to spot those sneaky external forces that might be pulling our strings.
And we touched on how tuning into our emotions can be like a personal alarm system, alerting us to those areas where we might be living out someone else's script.
Right, but simply recognizing those forces isn't enough. Is it? How do we actually start breaking free?
That's where the next step, questioning everything, comes in. And I think this step is particularly exciting because it invites us to become curious explorers of our own beliefs.
You mean like challenging those truths we've always held dear? Isn't that a bit unsettling?
It can be, but that's also where the magic lies. When we start questioning our assumptions about ourselves, about the world, about what's possible, we open up space for new perspectives and possibilities to emerge.
Okay, I'm game. So how do we actually put this questioning everything into practice?
One powerful way is to start paying attention to the stories you tell yourself, those inner narratives that shape your perceptions and influence your choices. Things like, I'm not good at math, or I could never start my own business.
Oh, I know those stories all too well, but how do we know which stories to challenge?
That's where your emotions can be helpful guides. If a particular story consistently triggers feelings of fear, anxiety, or self-doubt, it's probably worth examining more closely. Ask yourself, is this story really true, or is it just a limiting belief that's holding me back?
So it's like we're becoming detectives of our own minds, looking for those thought patterns that might be keeping us trapped in the matrix.
Exactly. And the more we question, the more we start to see that many of the truths we've held on to are actually just stories we've been told or beliefs we've adopted without really questioning them.
That's so empowering. It's like we're reclaiming our right to define our own reality, but what happens when we start to dismantle those old stories? What fills the void?
That's where the third step, embracing change, comes into play. As we release those limiting beliefs, we create space for new, more empowering ones to emerge. And that often involves making changes in our lives, sometimes big changes, sometimes small ones.
So we're not just questioning everything. We're actively taking steps to reshape our lives in ways that align with our newfound awareness.
Precisely. It's about moving from a passive state of accepting the matrix to an active state of co-creating our own reality. And that can involve anything from changing careers or ending unhealthy relationships to simply trying new things and stepping outside our comfort zones.
It's funny when you put it that way, it sounds a lot less like escaping the matrix and more like hacking it, bending it to our will.
I love that analogy. It captures the essence of what we're talking about. It's not about rejecting the world as it is. It's about consciously choosing how we want to engage with it.
Okay, so we're questioning, we're embracing change. I'm feeling pretty fired up over here, but I imagine all this questioning and changing can be pretty overwhelming too. How do we stay grounded amidst all the upheaval?
That's where the fourth step, practicing mindfulness, becomes essential. It's about cultivating a sense of presence and awareness in the midst of all the noise and distractions. It's about learning to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment and to connect with a deeper sense of peace and stillness within.
So it's like finding our center amidst the swirling chaos of the matrix.
Exactly. And the beauty of mindfulness is that it doesn't require any special equipment or training. It's available to us in every moment, no matter where we are or what we're doing. We can practice mindfulness while walking, eating, washing dishes, or even waiting in line at the grocery store.
That's great to hear. I'm always looking for simple ways to incorporate more mindfulness into my daily life. Any specific tips you can share?
One of my favorite practices is something called mindful breathing. It's
Yeah.
as simple as it sounds. Just take a few moments to focus on your breath, noticing the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. You can do this anytime, anywhere, and it's incredibly grounding and calming.
I love that. I'm definitely going to try that. So we've covered awareness, questioning, embracing change, and mindfulness. What's the final piece of this escape plan?
The fifth and final step is all about fostering authentic relationships. It's about connecting with people who see you, accept you, and support your journey of becoming your most authentic self.
So it's not just about breaking free from the external pressures of the matrix. It's also about building a support system that nourishes and uplifts us.
Precisely. And this step is crucial because it reminds us that we're not alone in this journey. We all need people in our lives who understand what we're going through, who celebrate our victories, and who offer a shoulder to cry on when we stumble.
That's so important. It's like having a tribe of fellow escapees who get it, who've been there, and who can offer guidance and support along the way.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is that these connections often emerge organically as we start living more authentically and aligning ourselves with our true values.
Yeah.
We attract people who resonate with our energy
Yeah.
and who share our desire for a more conscious and connected way to being.
Okay, so we've explored this roadmap for escaping the matrix.
Right.
But what if there's another layer to this whole thing?
You know what's fascinating here is that the notes hint at something deeper.
Deeper.
A kind of inner matrix
An inner matrix.
that we create for ourselves.
You mean like limitations we put on ourselves
Yeah.
without even realizing it?
Exactly. It's like we internalize the rules and expectations
Right.
of the outer matrix,
Yeah.
building our own mental prisons
Oh, wow.
out of fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs.
Wow, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So it's not enough to just break free from external systems.
Right.
We have to confront the ones we've built within ourselves, too.
Think of it this way.
Yeah, okay.
Even if you escape the confines of a physical prison,
Yeah.
you might still carry the bars with you.
In your mind.
In your mind, true freedom requires dismantling those internal barriers as well.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here, but how do we even begin to recognize those self-imposed limitations? They're probably so ingrained we don't even notice them.
It starts with becoming aware of those recurring negative thoughts
Right.
and beliefs that hold you back.
Okay.
You know, the I'm not good enough and the I can't get dance, that whisper in your ear.
Oh, I know those whispers all too well. They can be so insidious.
The key is to treat those thoughts
Okay.
with the same level of scrutiny and questioning
Right.
that we applied to the external matrix.
Okay.
Ask yourself, is this belief really true? What evidence do I have to support it?
So it's about challenging those limiting beliefs with the same fierceness we'd challenge an unfair system or an oppressive rule.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming your power,
Mm.
not just in the outer world, but within yourself.
This is incredible. It's like we're taking this whole escape concept to a whole new level, but honestly, it feels a bit daunting too.
I understand.
Where do we even start with this inner work?
One powerful technique the notes suggest
Yeah.
is to practice self-compassion.
Self-compassion.
Often we're our own harshest critics,
Right.
perpetuating those negative beliefs through self-judgment and criticism.
So instead of beating ourselves up, we need to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we'd offer a friend.
Precisely when you notice those critical thoughts creeping in, try to meet them with gentleness and acceptance. Remind yourself that you're human. You're doing the best you can,
Right.
and you're worthy of love and compassion, even when you make mistakes.
That's such a powerful reminder. It's easy to forget to be kind to ourselves in the midst of all the striving and achieving.
It's essential to remember that escaping the inner matrix is an ongoing process, not a destination.
Okay.
There will be ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of self-doubt. The key is to keep practicing, keep questioning, and keep cultivating that inner space of freedom and possibility.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like we've peeled back layer after layer of the matrix, revealing not just the external forces that shape our lives,
Right.
but also the internal ones we often create for ourselves.
And the beautiful thing is that as we free ourselves from both the outer and inner matrix, we create ripples that extend far beyond ourselves.
What do you mean?
Imagine a world where everyone is living in alignment with their values, pursuing their passions, and expressing their authentic selves.
Okay.
What would that world look like?
It would be a world filled with creativity, compassion, and connection.
Exactly, and that's the ultimate goal of this whole escape journey.
Okay.
It's not just about individual liberation.
Right.
It's about creating a more conscious, compassionate, and equitable world for everyone.
Wow. That's a powerful vision. And it makes me realize that even small acts of escape can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Right.
Every time you question a limiting belief challenge, an unfair system, or choose to live in alignment with your values, you're contributing to the creation of that better world.
So what you're saying is that escaping the matrix isn't just about personal transformation.
It's not.
It's about social transformation, too.
Exactly. It's
What?
about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and to express their full potential.
I love that it's like we're all connected and our individual journeys of liberation are interwoven with a larger collective awakening.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it reminds us that we're not alone in this journey.
Yeah.
We have each other, and we have the power to create a future that is just more compassionate and more aligned with our shared humanity.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. We've gone from recognizing the matrix to questioning our beliefs, embracing change, finding inner peace, building supportive communities, and now to confronting the limitations we impose on ourselves.
And throughout it all, we've discovered that escaping the matrix isn't about running away from the world. It's about engaging with it in a more conscious and intentional way.
Yeah.
It's about becoming more aware of the forces that shape our lives, both internal and external, and choosing to create a reality that is more aligned with our values and aspirations.
And it's about recognizing that we're all in this together. Our individual journeys of liberation are interconnected, and together we have the power to create a world that is just more compassionate and more aligned with our shared humanity.
So as you continue your own journey of escaping the matrix, remember to be kind to yourself, to stay curious, and to never stop questioning.
And remember that you have the power to create the life you want, the world you want to live in, and the person you want to become.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of exploration and discovery.
Until next time, stay curious, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.